I'm Cheryl from Yikes, I'm a Chicken Mom. And today we're going to talk about that exciting topic of ventilation versus drafts. Well, I know it's not exciting, but it is really important for good chicken keeping, I think, based on everything that I've read about it. So what I found out is you need good ventilation and no drafts. I didn't even know there was a difference between ventilation and drafts. I thought it was all the same thing. But ventilation is good, drafts are bad. Ventilation lets all the moisture and the ammonia fumes out of the coop, and it needs to be placed above the chicken's heads so that you can create this airflow, drawing all these things up and out of the top of the chicken coop. So where does all this moisture or humidity come from in a chicken coop? There's three places that I found. One of them is the chicken poop itself. It's very high in moisture content because, as I had said in a previous video, I didn't know that they poop and pee all in that same little ball. Chickens don't pee, just when they poop, out comes the pee inside that ball. So it's really high in moisture, so you need to keep that cleaned out on a daily basis to keep that coop humidity level down. So good housekeeping practices there will help with that. Number two is just by the nature of the breathing process for the chickens, really high in moisture content. The third thing is if you keep your chicken's watering source inside the chicken coop, that adds another source of humidity that we can do something about. So what to do about all this? So number one, with all the poop, good housekeeping practices. Keep that poop cleaned out of there to get rid of both humidity and ammonia fumes. Number two, take that watering source and move it outside so the chickens go outside to drink, and that takes care of that moisture. And the third thing is you can't tell your chickens to quit breathing. The poor little things have to breathe. So good ventilation will take care of that. So good housekeeping practices, lots of good ventilation will keep your chicken coop a healthy environment for your chickens. So now let's talk about drafts. We learned ventilation's good, drafts are bad. Drafts are down at the chicken level where ventilation, remember, happens up above the chicken's head. Drafts are caused by things like cracks around windows, cracks in doors, holes in the walls that will cause air to blow across the chickens. Now in the summertime, that's really not a problem. They enjoy that nice, fresh, cool air, just like we all do in the summertime, blowing in and keeping us all cooled and nice breeze going. But it can really cause a problem during the wintertime. So what happens is these drafts will blow in and disrupt your chicken's ability to keep itself warm. How does that happen? Well, chickens will fluff up their feathers and allow air to come up under their feathers. And then their little feathers will create this insulating coat that holds all that air they gathered in against their skin. It warms up, and then it becomes this cozy little like underwear for them that keeps them all nice and warm. And a draft interferes with that, because if there's a draft continually blowing across the chicken's feathers, it blows that warm air out that they have gotten all cozy with, keeps it constantly cold, pushing out the warm air, in comes the cold, and the chicken cannot keep itself regulated at a regular temperature, and they are miserable. So we want to make sure that those drafts aren't interfering with their ability to stay warm. Now, here's the other thing that can happen. If you add ammonia buildup from not cleaning the coop on a regular basis, and you don't have good ventilation, and there's moisture in the coop, that can lead to respiratory illness in your chicken, and they can die from that. The other thing is if there is too much moisture in your coop and drafts, that's another bad combination. Because you know how, let's say in the summer, and when it's real humid out, all this humidity condensates and it falls to the ground. It's all over the grass, it's dew, it's all over your car in the morning. Well, in the coop, if that humidity is high and that moisture from the humidity falls down on the chickens, it's going to land on their wattles and on their comb. And coupled with the cold air and the drafts, it can freeze on the comb and the wattle, and the result is frostbite. And I do now know that that red thing on their head is their comb, and the red things underneath their chin are wattles. Well, I don't think chickens have a chin. It must be under their beak. I'll have to Google that. I don't know if a chicken has a chin. We'll find out, and I'll update you next week if a chicken has a chin or not. But anyway, you just want to make sure you have a clean and a dry, well-ventilated coop for your girls to keep them all happy. But that's my simplified version of ventilation versus draft. You'll have to do your own research because, again, like I said, I'm all new at this stuff, and this is just what I learned and what I'm going to do to apply it and how I've interpreted all the stuff that I've read. So next week, we're going to talk about the exciting topic of what to do about all that poop. So I know, again, not another exciting topic, but again, a very important topic. So it'll be about litter versus sand versus pine shavings and deep litter method and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, join me next time and we'll talk about a little poop. Okay, bye.